Ambassador Rook had seen many horrors in his 53 cycles as the Galactic Confederation's diplomatic envoy. He'd negotiated with the silicate hive minds of Betelgeuse, survived the acid blood assassins of Proxima Centauri, and even stood his ground during the Void Crisis when reality itself threatened to unravel across 17 sectors, but nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared him for the humans. "You're certain about this report?" Rook's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly as he scanned the holographic display hovering above his command console. His carapace clicked nervously against the metallic chair designed to accommodate his arachnid-like form. Science Officer Mila Tlan nodded, her translucent skin rippling with concerned bioluminescent patterns. "The intelligence is irrefutable, Ambassador. 3 KRWX hunting vessels vanished in Sector 87. The sole survivor's final transmission mentioned children." Rook suppressed a shudder. The KRWX were apex predators, 12-foot reptilian monsters with regenerative abilities and sensory organs that could detect fear pheromones across light years. They were living weapons, bioengineered by the ancient Vex Empire for war before evolving into something far worse, hunters who killed for sport, and now something had hunted them. "Play the transmission again," Rook ordered. The holographic display flickered, revealing a KRWX commander, scales burnt and ripped away in places, yellow eyes wide with genuine terror and emotion no Confederation member had ever seen in their species. "The human settlement on Epsilon VI, we thought easy hunt." The transmission crackled with interference. "But the small ones, they're not like the adults, they don't fear, they don't." The KRYX looked over its shoulder, mandibles quivering. "They're coming. Stars help us, they're coming. Do not engage human children. They are not prey, they are static," filled the command center as the transmission abruptly ended. "I've studied countless species," Mila said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The behavioral profile doesn't make sense. Human adults demonstrate typical prey responses, they fear predators, they establish defenses, they avoid danger when possible. But their offspring," she trailed off. "What do we know about human children?" Rook asked. "Almost nothing. Humans are relatively new to the Confederation. We've only interacted with their diplomats, scientists, and colonists. All adults." Rook made a decision. "Prepare my shuttle. We're going to Epsilon VI. Ambassador, the Confederation Security Council explicitly ordered no contact after the KRWX incident. They've quarantined the entire sector. Then log that I'm going on a diplomatic mission to investigate potential treaty violations by the KRWX. This won't be the first time bureaucracy has moved too slowly to prevent a crisis." Rook rose from his chair, his 8 appendages unfolding to his full height. "If something about human children can terrify even the KRYX, the Confederation needs to know what we're dealing with before we welcome this species further into our midst." 20 hours later, Rook's diplomatic shuttle dropped out of hyperspace near Epsilon VI, a small terraformed mining colony established by humans only 3 cycles earlier. The planet's atmosphere swirled with purplish clouds, occasionally revealing patches of blue-green landscape dotted with prefabricated settlement structures. "Sensors detect 53 adult humans and 17 juvenile specimens," reported the shuttle's AI. "No KRWX biosignatures. However, I am detecting 3 damaged KRWX vessels on the planet's surface." "Open a channel to the settlement," Rook ordered. After several moments, a human face appeared on the view screen. Female, middle-aged by their standards, with weather-worn features suggesting prolonged exposure to the planet's harsh environment. "This is Dr. Helena Chen, Colony Administrator. Identify yourself." "Ambassador Rook of the Galactic Confederation. We received a distress signal from this region. I'm here to investigate." Dr. Chen's expression changed subtly, a tightening around the eyes that Rook's xenopsychology training identified as wariness. "No distress signal was sent, Ambassador. We've had some unwelcome visitors, but the situation is under control." "The KRYX," Rook stated flatly. A moment of silence. "Yes. They won't be bothering anyone again. Permission to land denied. This is a sovereign human colony, and we're well within our rights to—" "I understand your position, Dr. Chen," Rook interrupted smoothly, "but I should inform you that 3 destroyed KRWX hunting vessels will trigger an automatic investigation by the Confederation Security Council." As your species advocate within the Confederation, I'm offering my assistance before less diplomatically inclined officials arrive. Dr. Chen's eyes narrowed, then she sighed. Landing pad 3 is available. Come alone. The transmission ended. Ambassador, if I may, began Mila, concern rippling across her translucent skin. The colony administrator's behavior suggests deception. Of course she's hiding something, Rook replied as he moved toward the shuttle bay. My question is whether it's something the Confederation needs to fear. The shuttle landed with a gentle hiss on the designated pad. Through the viewport, Rook observed a cluster of utilitarian buildings nestled against a cliff face, mining equipment scattered across the landscape. A reception committee waited at the edge of the pad, Dr. Chen, flanked by 2 security officers carrying standard mining tools rather than weapons, but what caught Rook's attention were the small figures half hidden behind crates and equipment at the perimeter, watching, curious, unafraid. Human children. As he disembarked, a peculiar sensation crawled along his carapace, the unmistakable feeling of being hunted. Dr. Chen stepped forward as Rook approached, extending her hand in the human greeting ritual. Welcome to Epsilon VI, Ambassador. I apologize for the less than warm reception, but we've had a difficult week. Rook gently grasped her hand with one of his forward appendages. Understandable, Doctor. I appreciate your willingness to speak with me. His compound eyes swiveled subtly toward the children watching from the edges of the landing pad. I see you have a multi-generational colony. Yes, Chen replied, following his gaze. 17 children between the ages of 4 and 16. The Confederation colonization guidelines recommended against bringing minors to frontier worlds, but she shrugged. Many of our specialists wouldn't come without their families. A small human, perhaps 8 or 9 years old by Rook's estimation, darted out from behind a cargo container. The child moved with startling quickness, circling Rook before stopping directly in front of him. A female, with hair bound in what humans called pigtails, wearing coveralls smudged with the red dirt of Epsilon VI. You look like a spider, she exclaimed, eyes wide not with fear but fascination. Do you make webs? Can you eat through your hands? How many hearts do you have? Lily. Dr. Chen scolded. Ambassador Rook is an important guest, not a specimen to study. It's quite all right, Rook assured her, finding himself oddly disarmed by the child's directness. He lowered himself to address her at eye level. I don't make webs, though some of my distant ancestors did. I have 3 hearts, and I eat through a mouthpart under my central carapace. Lily nodded solemnly. Cool. Wanna see something awesome? We kept trophies from the bad lizard guys. Rook's antennae stiffened in surprise. Before Chen could intervene, another child had appeared beside Lily, a boy slightly older, his expression more guarded. Lily, remember what we talked about? Grown-up business. But Jakey, he's not human. The rules might be different. Dr. Chen stepped between the children and Rook. Ambassador, perhaps we should continue this conversation in my office. Children, return to the education center immediately. As the children retreated, Lily turning to wave enthusiastically at Rook, the ambassador noticed something peculiar. The boy, Jakey, had a makeshift necklace partially concealed beneath his collar. Hanging from it was what appeared to be a Kryx talon. In Chen's sparse office, Rook settled his arachnid form onto a reinforced chair as the administrator activated privacy screens. Let me be direct, Ambassador. 3 Kryx vessels landed without authorization 7 standard days ago. They attacked our perimeter, killed 2 of our security personnel, and declared their intention to hunt the rest of us for sport. And yet, Rook observed, your colony survived and their vessels did not. The Confederation has documented 73 colonies across 12 species that suffered different fates when the Kryx decided to hunt them. Chen's expression hardened. We're not most colonies. What happened to the Kryx, Dr. Chen? A long silence filled the room. Finally, Chen spoke, her voice flat. They made a tactical error. They thought the children would be easy targets that they would run, hide, provide entertainment for the hunt. Something dark flashed across her face. They were wrong. I need more than that, Doctor. Chen sighed, reaching for a data tablet. Security footage from the third day of the attack. We'd established defensive positions around the central compound. The KRYX had already killed our 2 security officers and were picking us off one by one. We thought we were finished. She activated the tablet, sliding it across the desk. The footage showed a nighttime scene, 3 KRYX warriors advancing toward a barricade while human adults fired ineffective mining lasers that barely scorched the Predator's armored scales. Then, from an unexpected angle, a small figure darted into view. A child Rook recognized Jakey holding nothing more threatening than a coil of utility cable. The boy wasn't running away from the KRYX, he was running toward them. Another child appeared from a different direction. Then another. And another. Rook watched in stunned silence as the children converged on the KRYX from all sides, moving with coordinated precision that seemed impossible for juveniles. The KRYX turned, clearly confused by prey that didn't flee, that instead attacked with improvised weapons and absolute fearlessness. "What are they doing?" Rook whispered. "What human children have always done," Chen replied quietly. "Adapting." The security footage continued, revealing a sequence of events that defied Rook's understanding of predator-prey dynamics. The KRYX apex hunters feared across the galaxy were retreating from the human children who pursued them with relentless determination. "Pause the recording," Rook requested, his voice strained. "This behavior, it's unprecedented." Dr. Chen's expression remained neutral, but Rook detected subtle indicators of pride. "Not for us. Throughout human history, our children have demonstrated remarkable adaptability and creativity, especially in crisis situations. But the KRYX are genetically engineered killing machines. They possess sensory organs specifically designed to detect and exploit fear responses." Rook's compound eyes blinked rapidly as he processed the implications. "These children shouldn't be capable of driving them back." "That's where you're wrong, Ambassador." Chen leaned forward. "The KRYX hunting strategy relies on fear on their prey behaving in predictable ways. Adult humans understand danger. We comprehend our mortality. We know we should be afraid. And the children don't." "It's not that they don't understand danger," Chen clarified. "It's that human children possess a unique cognitive framework. Their threat assessment doesn't function like an adult's. Their problem-solving isn't constrained by experience or assumption. Most importantly, they haven't fully developed the neurological fear responses that predators like the KRYX have evolved to exploit." Rook contemplated this. "You're suggesting their neurological immaturity is actually an advantage?" "Precisely. The KRYX came expecting terrified prey. Instead, they encountered opponents who weren't afraid, who saw the galaxy's most feared predators and thought, 'I wonder what happens if we do this.'" Chen reactivated the recording. "Keep watching." The footage showed Lily, the same curious girl who had greeted Rook, approaching a wounded KRYX warrior with nothing but a mining tool. Instead of attacking directly, she appeared to be talking to it. The KRYX reared back, clearly disturbed. "What is she doing?" Rook asked. "Asking it questions. Endless questions. About its biology, its home planet, why it hurts others. Questions the KRYX has never been asked because everyone else is too afraid." Chen's mouth twisted in a grim smile. Predators like the KRYX depend on fear-induced irrationality. Human children don't yet understand they should be irrational in the face of terror. As the recording continued, Rook witnessed something extraordinary. The KRYX appeared increasingly disoriented by the children's behavior. When the predators struck, the children didn't flee in panic, they adapted, coordinated, and counterattacked with improvised tactics no adult would have conceived. Rook had seen enough. He gently pushed the tablet back toward Chen. "I began my investigation believing I might find some weapon or technology that explained how your colony survived. Instead, I find that human children themselves are the explanation." His mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "The Confederation must reassess its understanding of your species." "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" Chen's posture tensed. "Quite the opposite, Doctor. It's an acknowledgement." Rook rose from his chair. "I would like to speak with the children, with their and your permission, of course. There is much the Confederation could learn." Before Chen could respond, an alarm blared throughout the compound. A security officer burst into the office without ceremony. Dr. Chen. Long-range sensors have detected a KRYX battleship entering the system. Much larger than the hunting vessels. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. Chen paled. They've never sent a battleship before. Not for a failed hunt. Because this wasn't just a failed hunt, Rook realized, his carapace tightening with dread. The survivor sent a warning, not about the danger, but about what they discovered about human children. The KRYX leadership perceives your offspring as an existential threat to their position in the galactic hierarchy. We need to evacuate, Chen insisted. My shuttle can take 20 people at most. Which would leave the majority of your colony defenseless, Rook finished for her. And my diplomatic vessel has similar limitations. A small voice interrupted from the doorway. Why are the grown-ups panicking? We already beat the lizard guys once. Lily stood there, alongside Jakey and several other children. Their expressions showed nothing resembling fear, only determination and curiosity. This is different, Chen explained gently. A much bigger ship with many more KRYX warriors is coming. Jakey stepped forward, the KRYX Talon necklace now prominently displayed. Then we need a bigger plan. We've been talking about what we'd do if they came back. You've been what? Chen's voice rose in alarm. Planning, another child explained matter-of-factly. After we figured out how to beat the first ones, we started thinking about what we'd do differently next time. Rook's compound eyes widened as the children began describing their plans, strategies that veered between brilliantly unorthodox and terrifyingly audacious. They spoke of traps, diversions, and countermeasures that no military strategist would have conceived because they violated conventional tactical logic, yet their plans contained a twisted genius born of minds unconstrained by experience or fear. It was in that moment that Ambassador Rook truly understood what made human children the most terrifying force in the galaxy. They didn't just lack fear. They possessed imagination. 4 hours later, Ambassador Rook stood in the colony's command center, observing the most improbable war council in his diplomatic career. The human adults, miners, engineers, and scientists clustered around tactical displays, their faces tense with grim determination. But the real strategic discussion was happening at a smaller table, where the children huddled, sketching plans and arguing passionately about the best way to defeat an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries. It won't work, Jakey insisted, pointing at a diagram. We can't just do the same tricks. They'll be ready for that. Then we do something they really won't expect, Lily countered. What's the opposite of what we did last time? Dr. Chen approached Rook, her expression troubled. This is madness. We should be evacuating the children, not involving them in battle plans. I understand your concern, Rook replied quietly, but my analysis suggests the KRYX aren't coming to hunt anymore. They're coming to exterminate. A partial evacuation would save some, but doom others. He hesitated. Besides, I've contacted the Confederation. Reinforcements won't arrive for at least 26 hours. So we're on our own. Not entirely. My diplomatic shuttle has certain modifications not included in standard registry files. And I've spent 53 cycles studying species across the galaxy. Rook's mandibles clicked in what humans might interpret as a smile. Some of which were considered quite dangerous before they encountered the KRYX. 2 hours later, the KRYX battleship entered orbit. 3 times larger than a standard hunting vessel, its hull bristled with weapons designed for planetary bombardment rather than sport hunting. This wasn't about the thrill of the chase, this was extermination. They're launching drop ships, reported a colony technician. 5 of them, carrying approximately 100 warriors. Chen looked to Rook. This is their full assault. No, Rook answered grimly. This is their first wave. The KRYX believe in overwhelming force followed by psychological terror. These warriors will establish a perimeter and begin a systematic advance to demoralize you before the second wave. They're still thinking like hunters, Jakey observed, having approached unnoticed. The boy's eyes reflected a calculating intelligence that unsettled even Rook. But we're not prey anymore. We're the hunters now. As the KRYX drop ships descended, the colony appeared abandoned. No defensive fire greeted the invaders, no desperate last stand awaited them at the perimeter. The KRYX warriors disembarked, 12-foot reptilian predators armed with plasma weapons and biotechnological armor that made them nearly invulnerable to conventional attacks. Their commander, bearing ritual scars that marked it as a veteran of 100 hunts, signaled the warriors to advance into the silent colony. The trap was sprung not with dramatic explosions or brave charges, but with something far more disorienting to the KRYX. Children's laughter, projected from hidden speakers throughout the compound. The sound, innocent yet eerily unconcerned given the circumstances, caused the KRYX warriors to hesitate, their sensory organs struggling to locate its source. Then came the toys, simple mechanical devices that the children had reprogrammed and modified. Remote-controlled vehicles skittered between buildings, drones wobbled through the air, and primitive robots with crudely painted faces advanced toward the KRYX line. The warriors fired at these decoys, destroying them easily, but with each blast, their positions were revealed to the hidden defenders. From concealed bunkers, the adult colonists fired mining lasers modified with components from Rook's shuttle, targeting the weak points in KRYX armor that the children had identified during the previous attack. Warriors fell, but the KRYX commander was not easily deceived. It signaled a flanking maneuver, sending warriors to encircle the colonists' positions. That's when the second phase began, the colony's irrigation system repurposed and filled with a chemical cocktail created by combining human adhesives and compounds from Rook's diplomatic supplies suddenly activated, spraying a substance that hardened on contact with the KRYX's scaly skin. Warriors found themselves immobilized, their movements restricted by the rapidly setting compound. Through it all, the children's voices continued, not screaming in terror but calling out to each other in a coded language they had invented during their planning sessions. Coordinates, timings, signals for the adults monitoring the defense systems. The KRYX commander, enraged and confused by the unfolding chaos, ordered a retreat to regroup. But as the warriors tried to fall back, they encountered the colony's heavy mining equipment, automated excavators and loaders now operating on programs written by a 10-year-old engineering prodigy. From his position in the command center, Rook watched the battle with a mixture of horror and awe. "This isn't a defense," he murmured to Dr. Chen. "It's a demonstration." Chen nodded grimly. The children wanted to send a message. Not just to survive, but to ensure the KRYX never return. The KRYX commander, its forces decimated and communications jammed by colony equipment repurposed by teenage communications specialists, finally reached the central plaza where a single human child waited. Lily stood alone, small but unafraid, holding not a weapon but a data tablet. The commander loomed over her, mandibles clicking in rage and confusion, waiting for the fear response that never came. "We recorded everything," Lily stated simply, holding up the tablet displaying footage of the one-sided battle. "The other children are transmitting it to your ship right now, using the communication protocols we learned from the ones we defeated last time." The KRYX commander recoiled, suddenly understanding the true danger. Not just defeat, but humiliation, evidence that the galaxy's apex predators had been outmaneuvered by the offspring of a species they had dismissed as mere prey. "You should go now," Lily continued, her voice eerily calm. "Tell the others what happens when they try to hunt us. Tell them that human children are not afraid of monsters. We grow up reading stories about them, playing games about defeating them." Her eyes, wide and innocent yet coldly determined, locked with the commander's. "Tell them we find new ways to win." As the defeated KRYX forces retreated to their remaining drop ships, Rook stepped onto the plaza beside Lily. The ambassador activated his universal translator to address the KRYX commander directly. "The Galactic Confederation will receive my full report on these events," Rook announced, his diplomatic training giving way to genuine conviction. "I will recommend that human colonies receive special protected status, not because they need our protection, but because the rest of the galaxy may need protection from what humans become when threatened." That evening, as the colonies celebrated their unlikely victory and the KRYX battleship departed the system, Rook sat with the children who had orchestrated the defense. They bombarded him with questions about his species, about the Confederation, about the countless worlds beyond their small colony. "Ambassador," Lily asked, her face serious despite the celebration around them, "will they come back? The KRYX or others like them?" Rook considered the question carefully. "The KRYX won't. Their society values strength above all else. They respect power, even when it defeats them. As for others, he gestured toward the stars visible through the settlement's dome. The galaxy contains many predators. But after today, word will spread. About what? Jakey asked. About why even the deadliest predators in the universe fear human children. Rook's compound eyes reflected the starlight. Not because you are stronger or faster or have sharper claws, but because you possess something far more dangerous, the ability to look at the impossible and ask, why not? Later, as Rook prepared his official report for the Confederation Council, he included a recommendation that would change galactic diplomacy forever. Human children should be classified not as vulnerable members of an emerging species, but as natural strategic assets of unprecedented value. In the vast calculus of interstellar politics, the Confederation had always categorized species by their technological achievements, their military capabilities, their resources. Now they would need a new category entirely for a species whose young could stare into the face of terror without blinking, and ask it questions until the terror itself began to fear.